What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here with some more Grand Party action, everyone's favorite game mode. I'm gonna say it every single day that we record these stupid videos, dude. Oh man, one more day to go, guys, and it will all be over for at least another month. But anyways, talking more about our opponent that we're coming up against, we can still currently see two teams, and I did see a Dex and a Quick team, and I went for it. I did refresh once, didn't get anything, and then I saw this one and decided to go for this one. And once again, you know, this is day 4 currently, and it's still unable to locate any other individual utilizing the strategy. Unfortunately, been a little unlucky, but look, it is what it is, right? And hopefully you guys are having some good luck with your Grand Party this month. I know Grand Party can be a bit of a grind and can make things a bit difficult, but hopefully it is going well for you. But I had been testing this team out against opposing Dex teams throughout the season thus far, had relatively good success, and will continue to do that in this video today. It actually works out pretty well, and it's mainly just due to LUFFY YAMATO. They just do so much damage, and it really makes a big difference. But the other thing is we saw an opposing Quick team, and I love seeing opposing Quick teams in Grand Party because I know that that is going to be essentially a guaranteed win. Like, in a lot of situations, it should be a guaranteed win. So that's obviously a good thing. So I just saw that, you know my team, my Free Spirit team, has a pretty good matchup against my opposing enemy's Dex team, and then if we win that, we should have a pretty easy time taking on the opponent's Quick team. And, you know, even though the opponent does have Roger bursts, if they use them incorrectly, you know, when they use them at the very start of one of these fights for the first 20 seconds, usually it doesn't actually matter that much, but things can get really bad when on like match 2, for example. You know, you use that Roger burst and you try and, you know, break him down as quick as you possibly can, and then the opponent gets their second burst off, and then they use it against you. And if they end up using 2 Roger bursts against you in the same game, a lot of times you will just lose that. But there have been obviously opportunities where people in the past have been able to get around that. But I'm just saying, generally speaking, if the opponent launches 2 Roger bursts in the same game, it's very hard to get around that, and that's honestly just the biggest downfall of Roger and why he's so oppressive in this game. And I think it's really good, and I think, like, I say he's really good, and what I mean by that is Roger himself is a good unit, right? But I think that if they balanced him out by being able only to launch this GP burst once, it would make Grand Party so much easier for so many players, because, you know, the opponent uses the GP burst skill in really weird ways that makes it easy to combat. Whereas when you have your own Roger burst, you can control when you want to launch that burst. So if the opponent wastes it on at the very end of game 1, you just know that you've got a burst and they don't. In a lot of situations, you should be able to get the dub there. But obviously there's the other side of that, where you having access to also 2 bursts of Roger can make 2 different games a lot easier against the opponent. So again, it's just the whole Roger scenario. It's the whole Roger argument that we always have every single month. I'll leave you guys with the rest of this clip. We'll pick things up in game number 2. Picking things up in game number 2. This is where we can only see one of our opposing enemies' teams, and this is where Grand Party gets a little RNG reliant. So we do see that the first team here is going to be against an IT team, and this is one where I actually went and did the full resets, the full refreshes, trying to find a relatively decent opponent. And after using all my refreshers, this is all I could really come up with. So I saw the IT team here, and I didn't really want to challenge it, but I felt somewhat confident in this ability of this Free Spirit team to get the job done against the opponent. So I felt like it should have been okay. Now, I'm pretty certain that we get kind of destroyed in terms of RNG components. That actually might be in the next game. You guys are going to see that one. It goes down to the wire, and I'm a little perplexed as to how we actually lost game 2. But anyways, talking about game 1, you know, obviously it is that int-driven team, and I have had a little bit of success using the Free Spirit team against int-driven in normal Rumble. I haven't tested it in Grand Party thus far, so I thought it was a good opportunity to do that. You know, you don't really want to take it up to, like, you know, these situations where you basically are on a knife's edge in terms of winning and losing. You don't want to wait till that moment to do testing. Usually, day one is the best day to do your testing. I know Stump, another Treasure Cruise content creator, he does a lot of testing on day one, and, you know, you can actually do testing on day one very effectively, because essentially before you win a GP match, you can just quit the game and restart it. It classifies it as a loss, and then you can just go again. And because there's infinite, like, retries, infinite losses that you can have on day one, you can do as much testing as you want. And I know that Stump does a lot of that to try and get his teams built right against opposing really scary teams, just to see how teams perform and how they gel together. And obviously that's a really good strategy that you could definitely employ for yourself. I just go with it. I don't really care. I just run with it, and we see how it goes. And we see that in this scenario here, I do end up skipping towards the end here because I felt just confident that we just won it already, and we did pick up the first victory. But after that, that's when things get a little pear-shaped as we make it into this second game. I had a feeling it was probably going to be a Dex team. Kind of wished it wasn't, but it was. It was an opposing Dex team, and things get a little dicey in this match. It gets interesting because at least in the first half of this game, or for a large majority of this game, I felt very much in control. But once again, the Roger Burst somehow brings this team back, and I don't technically lose the match, but the timeout feature is really what brings it down for us here. And this was actually a pretty long match that we had to speed up here, but you'll see that things go a little crazy because it does go to a timeout, but it's due to the fact that we have equal number of characters left remaining at the end of this game. I couldn't believe it too, because I ended up skipping at the end because I thought I was just going to win. But somehow the opponent brought in someone off the bench, and it did really good damage, and we ended up losing quite a few characters in the last few moments of the game, which basically gave us the L. So that's a little unfortunate. I believe at the end it finished 3 characters apiece, so we lost 5 characters each. Very unfortunate. If there was more time left, I felt like my team had it in the bag. But look, it is what it is. You got to play within those rules of 100 seconds. So, yeah, we end up taking the L this time around, which is very unfortunate. Would have loved to have picked up the win straight away, but it does leave us to the last game of this match. And, you know, at this point, the opponent doesn't have their own Roger Burst. I have my own Roger Burst. Well, I don't have it per se. He said that it is almost charged here. And, man, this last game is it goes down to the wire as well, and it's mainly just due to the fact that we are using this Free Spirit team. So I really should just switch it out for something else. Really not a fan of this team. It's very squishy, dies very quickly, but if you do get this team to work right, it's really strong due to the fact that Luffy and the Straw Hats can haste everyone to the top of the order. And if the rest of your character specials are activated, then it is a whitewash. You just go absolutely bonkers, balls to the wall, crazy. Because Luffy and the Straw Hats have the most special charge CT in the whole team. So their special is likely going to launch first, but their special CT is so fast that not everyone else will be ready by the time you launch their special, which, you know, it's a little dicey the way that it works like that, you know? So it is unfortunate, but we'll see what happens here. I do end up using the Roger Burst here to help us out a little bit. I was going to skip a little earlier. I didn't end up doing it, but we did actually, luckily, just squeak out a victory. It was incredibly close, but we'll go ahead and then move on to the final match of the video. And then we're here at the final match, and things go a little bit good for me because I actually was lucky enough to find a quick team that I was able to locate, which means that, yeah, you know, I know that's essentially a free win for me, so I love to see that. You know, when I see quick teams, I love that. I absolutely want to see quick teams as much as possible because they're very, very easy to combat with a decent Dex team, at least. Realistically, you know, because I knew that I was going up against a quick team, I could put versus Yamato on the team. Definitely a character that's fair to put on these Dex teams. I still really like this team because it doesn't really have too many flaws, honestly. Against opposing Dex teams, it's not great. But look, it is what it is. It's still not too bad overall. And, you know, we get to a situation where we are up against a mystery team, you know, as the second one. And I felt relatively confident that, you know, the Free Spirit team with a potential Roger Burst should be able to combat just about anything this season. The only thing that would be a little bit difficult, I think, would be against, like, the mirror match. I think the mirror match would be a little crazy, especially if both people have a Roger Burst. It really comes down to who can get Luffy Yamato special to launch first. Especially if you're able to get the Roger Burst alongside that. It makes a pretty big difference overall. But luckily for us, we, I believe, go up against a Dex team at the end. So it ends up being Free Spirit versus Dex. We've already had that go up already in this video and in this season. Felt pretty confident with it. And luckily for us, it turns out very, very well. So that is it. We got the victory, and we now have 12 wins this season, which is awesome. I wasn't really expecting to reach 12 wins. And I'm not expecting to reach 15, but if we're able to do that, that would be absolutely wicked. Anyways, I'll leave you guys with the rest of this clip. Thank you very much for watching the video, and good luck with your Grand Party matches. We'll be back with the final day of Grand Party tomorrow, and then we can rest easy and not have to worry about it for another month. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
僕がポルトで手伝う俺は海賊になるんだ。時は俺の魔王。彼らをやるの言葉で。お前らじゃ何も面白くねえ。行くぞ。頑張って。 やろうじゃねえか地獄の王に